Recently, I had a chance to watch the entire Brawl For All tournament with the Deadlock Boys for our monthly Patreon series, Something's Gonna Happen Live, and boy was it something special. If you watch it the way that it played out on TV, sure, it wasn't so great, but the entire tournament in one sitting made me realize one thing. WWE missed a huge opportunity on making Bart Gunn a star. Most people will remember Bart Gunn as one half of the Smoking Guns with Billy Gunn. You know, those guys with the cowboy gimmick. The Smoking Guns had a decent tag run together, and they even became a 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions. When Sunny joined the group, they ended up turning more heel, and after the Smoking Guns defeated the Godwins for the WWF Tag Team titles, she ended up joining them. At In Your House Mind Games, the Smoking Guns went up against the British Bulldog and Owen Hart. When they came up on the losing end and they lost their titles, Sunny fired the Smoking Guns. She didn't want to manage them since they were no longer champions, and she called them losers.
And I have had it! You two are fired! Do you hear me? Fired, fired, fired!
After losing the titles in Sunny, Billy Gunn ended up turning on Bart Gunn. When they broke up, there was no long-term plans for either man to skyrocket them as single competitors. They'd have a short rivalry and even a one-on-one match where Bart Gunn would injure Billy Gunn's neck. Billy would eventually turn into Rockabilly, become the manager of the Honky Tonk Man. That would then eventually morph into the New Age Outlaws and D-Generation X. Bart Gunn, well, he would end up leaving the WWF and go to the NWA. He would return to the WWF in 1998 and be a part of the WWF NWA storyline. That storyline is one of those things I'm sure we'll talk about one day down the road. Then came the Brawl For All. At the time, in 1998, Bradshaw would claim that he was a legit tough guy and could beat anyone in the locker room in a bar fight. Vince Russo, who was one of the head writers of the WWF at the time, came up with an idea for a shoot-fight boxing style tournament. The entire tournament was set up to see Bradshaw get his ass kicked. Pretty funny if you think about it. This would not be scripted sports entertainment. This would be one-on-one boxing matches where points would be scored for the most punches landed, takedowns, and knockdowns. Each match would consist of 3 one-minute rounds, and these matches were scored by ringside judges, including Gorilla Monsoon. The rumor was, going into this tournament, that Dr. Death Steve Williams was the favorite to win the entire thing, and the company even wanted him to win. If this was the case, why didn't they gimmick the entire thing?
Fuck Dr. Death!
They didn't do that. The entire thing was a train wreck from the very beginning, with the crowd very vocal that they didn't like what they were seeing. They got "This is boring" chants and "We want wrestling." But there was one diamond in the rough in this entire thing, and that was Bart Gunn. At this time, he wasn't really favored to win this thing. He was pretty much in the lower card storylines on Raw. However, as they say, he took chicken shit and made it into chicken salad. During the Brawl For All, he went on to beat Bob Holly in the first round via decision. Him and Bob Holly were part of the new Midnight Express. This would cause a rift between them, and they would pick up their feud after the Brawl For All. In the second round, Bart Gunn would go up against the Office's golden boy, Dr. Death Steve Williams. Not only would Bart Gunn beat Dr. Death Steve Williams, but he would knock him out and cause him to injure his hamstring. Not only was he injured for the Brawl For All, but he effectively ended the push that he was receiving by the WWF by losing this. They had plans for Dr. Death Steve Williams to run a program with Stone Cold, but it all ended right there. The next round, Bart Gunn would have a fantastic fight with the Godfather and would win that via knockout. In the finals, it was Bart Gunn versus Bradshaw. And to think, they put on this entire tournament to shove it to Bradshaw, and he ended up making it to the finals. Bart Gunn would knock down Bradshaw early in the first round with a left hook to the jaw, a shot that probably should have ended the entire fight. Bradshaw was able to get up and continue. However, the lights were on, but nobody was home. Right as the ref cleared Bradshaw to continue, Bart delivered a right and a left to Bradshaw that put him down for good. It was like a sack of bricks hitting the canvas. If you wanted to have an amazing final fight in a tournament, this is how you would book it if it was a work. But as I said before, this wasn't a work. This was for real. Bart looked amazing coming out of the Brawl For All. He had 3 of the 4 knockouts in the entire tournament, and he looked like a true badass. After he won his fight, he would go up to the turnbuckle and yell at Jim Ross. Jim, at the time, was head of talent relations. Bart Gunn was pretty much saying, "Look at me, I'm a star, do something with me. Did you see what I just did right there?" Bart Gunn would win some cash for winning the tournament, but creatively, they did nothing with him after this. Bart Gunn should have been skyrocketed as a legit tough guy who could kick anyone's ass. Instead, he went back to doing the NWA stuff all the way until WrestleMania 15. The Brawl For All ended in August, and WrestleMania 15 was at the end of March. That's too long not to put him in a major spot. Apparently, like I said, creative had nothing for him until WrestleMania. When WrestleMania 15 came around, they had Bart Gunn in an attraction match. He was going to have a Brawl For All match against Butterbean. If you don't know, Butterbean at the time was a big mainstream boxer who was known for his big knockouts. I'll give you a guess to what happened. Butterbean knocked Bart Gunn out in 35 seconds. Soon after WrestleMania, Bart Gunn was released from his WWF contract. He would go to Japan and have mild success due to his knockout of Dr. Death Steve Williams. If you watch the Brawl For All tournament, WrestleMania 15 match, you really get to see the rise and fall of Bart Gunn. Bart is a guy who deserved a hell of a lot more after his performances in the Brawl For All. He had 3 knockouts and he made Bradshaw look like a bitch. That's worth something in my opinion. The WWF office wanted Dr. Death to win the entire tournament, but because it wasn't gimmicked, they couldn't make sure it was his destiny. Bart Gunn went out there and proved that he was the best fighter in the entire tournament. He surprised everyone and it looked like a true underdog story. It wrote itself. Bart Gunn never really had a singles run, so this was his breakout moment. And as I stated for it, they wanted the winner to go on to versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, but once Bart Gunn won the thing, they didn't really do that. It was almost as if they punished Bart Gunn for winning the tournament. It was more of a curse than it was a blessing. Everyone will say that the entire Brawl For All was a waste and it sucked, but that's not true at all. Bart Gunn went out there and he kicked ass and he made a name for himself. The only problem was that the company wasn't willing to back him and take a chance on him. The true nail in the coffin, well, that was when he faced Butterbean at WrestleMania and got knocked out in 35 seconds. There's really no way you can come back from that one.